Owen Beck and Filip Mesar, two of the Habs' most highly touted prospects, had massive games in the OHL last night. We're going to be getting into how they performed. Plus, we have a Juraj Slafkovsky, Joel Armia, and Joel Edmundson injury update, along with the lines of practice. Finally, we got a schedule for when we'll see those beautiful powder blue reverse retro jerseys, so you won't want to miss this episode of Habs Digest. Hello, bonjour, ahoy, and welcome to today's news episode for October 22nd of Habs Digest. Now, we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. You guys have been blowing us out of the water with support recently, especially on that last video. We want to say thank you. But even on that last video, 95% of you guys aren't subscribed. So if you enjoy what we do here at Habs Digest and you want to see daily Montreal content, feel free to subscribe. You don't have to, but no, it'll help us out and hopefully help you out stay up to date on some Habs news. So, Jesse, we're going to get into our first topic here today. The Habs prospects lighting up the OHL. Owen Beck, of course, selected in the second round this past season with the 33rd overall pick, and Filip Mesar with the 26th pick in the first round. Super young guys, both 18 years old, super promising, and they had monster games.
Absolutely. This is exactly what we want to see. We want to see them just absolutely dominating the OHL early on, and this is just completely what they're doing. And I don't know about you, Josh, but I'm not even surprised. No. Mesar was looking great in the preseason, scoring goals already. We see a little bit of chemistry with Juraj Slafkovsky, and who's really surprised about that at all, right? Friends off the ice, and they seem to really click on the ice as well. And Owen Beck, a lot of Habs fans didn't even want him for how young he is to even be sent down because he was playing so good in the preseason. So just amazing to see so far.
That's best face-off man in the OHL last season, Owen Beck, to you. These guys have been great. Of course, Mesar and Juraj, both Slovakian. We're really pandering to the Slovakian audience here now, but, Mesar, of course, he was cut after training camp, and we kind of expected that. We thought maybe he had a shot, but he was put into Laval, and he only played one game there before, it was on the fourth line. I believe he was playing wing on the fourth line before we sent him down to the OHL, and I think it was the perfect decision for his development. But yeah, let's get into their stat lines last night. We got some pictures here. Elite prospects, of course. If you want to follow any account for prospects for any NHL players, follow Elite Prospects on Twitter. They're fantastic and have a great website. Look at this, just a casual 6-point night for hashtag GoHabsGo prospect Owen Beck. And a 5-point night for a Florida prospect. We don't care about that. 6-point night for Owen Beck with a goal and 5 assists for the Mississauga Steelheads. He looked amazing, last season in the OHL, and he just looks so smooth on the ice. Everything he does exudes confidence, and it kind of shows that, it feels like he's almost too good to be there already at 18 years old. He now has 9 points in 6 games in the OHL.
Absolutely. Seems like we're doing a really good job of drafting really cerebral players, because that's one of the things that stood out for me with Owen Beck, especially, is just early on, is not just the face-off prowess, but just when he's on the ice, he's so calculated. He knows when to hold on to it. And does he ever have some dangles?
Oh, man.
And some speed, coming through the neutral zone? He's sneaky, really, really good. So I'm wondering if we're looking at a potential line in the future with Beck centering maybe Mesar, maybe Slafkovsky. Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit here, but I'm seeing some chemistry early on.
Oh, there is for sure. I want to see how Mesar projects. Speaking of Mesar, let's bring up the Elite Prospects tweet for him as well. Filip Mesar, welcome to the OHL. His first game in the OHL. Forgot to mention that, of course, because he played that first game with Laval. His first game with Kitchener had 4 points with 1 goal and 3 assists in his debut. Amazing. And, Mesar, we saw him in the preseason maybe play his best moments, or in the prospects game to play his best moments while he was at center, but I believe he's going to be playing a bit more wing with Francesco Pinelli as the center on his line in the OHL. So I'm not really sure whether he projects more as a center long-term or a wing, but either way, like you said, if we have Beck with Mesar getting all this experience on the wing, man, the youth that the Habs have coming up is so fun to witness, and these guys just it's what you want from your prospects, to dominate the competition at every level they're at. I would love to see these guys, finish the season in the OHL, and maybe they'll be dominant in Laval or Montreal next season.
Yeah, definitely. And what you want to see, too, from a young team is chemistry. And it really seems like we have that in spades. I know a lot of people were commenting on our last video about that chemistry between Arbor Jacki and Juraj Slafkovsky, not just off the ice where we're seeing that they're becoming friends, but on the ice as well. And now you then put Filip Mesar into the picture with Juraj Slafkovsky. It's like the really a good sign of a good organization period is just when it's tight knit, right? So we're seeing people that just genuinely like playing hockey together, and so it just bodes well for some really good chemistry in the future.
I agree completely, Jesse. Well, let's get on to topic number 2 today. We got a Juraj Slafkovsky injury update. But not just him, we heard some news about him and Joel Armia and Joel Edmundson. So that's some great stuff. So let's bring up the tweet here from Arpon Basu. Joel Armia and Joel Edmundson were skating with the Canadiens this morning in non-contact jerseys. Before this, they were just taking skates by themselves, so that's great news. But Juraj Slafkovsky is not on the ice due to an upper body injury. The Canadiens, the Canadiens, say he's day to day. I didn't see this coming. That kind of felt like it was a bit out of nowhere when I read that today. It's nice to hear that Armia and Edmundson are progressing well, but it hurts me to see that Slafkovsky, after scoring his first goal, is probably going to miss tonight's game against Dallas. I mean, we got to hope he's back for Tuesday against Minnesota, right?
Absolutely. But you know what? He showed some toughness because my guess is they haven't said exactly how that happened. They don't like to give all the information on this, but probably on that same play where he scored that goal, right? Getting that high hit. We saw him a little bit fired up, afterwards. But man, wasn't that so nice to see him maybe take a hit, get injured, and then he then goes and snipes a goal, So he's showing some good toughness all the same, just to be able to finish off the game and everything like that. So I think that they're taking some precautions. We got a lot of depth this year at wingers, so we're playing it rather safe than sorry with a very young, talented player that we really need to nurture.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, even if it's the most minor of injury, even if he had a paper cut that makes him uncomfortable, we want to make sure that he is as healthy as possible for this season. We want to make sure that there's no lingering anything. We don't want to risk anything with our number one 18-year-old pick. I mean, it sucks that we're not going to see him follow up that amazing game, but it's for the best. It's for his own health, and just to show you who might be into replacing tonight, it looks like it's going to be Rem Pitlick. So as you can see on the screen, we got the Canadiens lines this morning. Caulfield, Suzuki, Monahan, no change. Dadonov, Dvorak, Gallagher, no change. Drouin, Dach, and Anderson, no change. With Pitlick coming in on the left wing on the fourth line for Juraj Slafkovsky, centered by Jake Evans with Mike Hoffman on the right. And there's no change on D. Guli Savard, Harris Kovacevic, Jack-Eye, and Weidman. Although Jack-Eye was playing a bit with Kovacevic in some games, and you'd see Harris with Weidman a bit, but this is pretty standard. One thing I wanted to say too, Jesse, when Arpon Basu was tweeting the lineup out, the goalies, he listed them as Allen and Dikembe. And I didn't know that Dikembe was the nickname for Montembeault, because Montembeault sounds like Mutombo, so they just call him Dikembe. I thought that was hilarious. I had never seen that before, and I like that as, it's a better nickname than Wi-Fi in my opinion. I don't know if, you saw my opinion on the Wi-Fi nickname. I'm not a huge fan, but I am a huge fan of the Dikembe nickname.
Absolutely. We're using that from now on. Anytime we're referring to Samuel Montembeault, it's Dikembe right there, because he's been doing a good job of defending the net so far this year.
That's right. Every time he makes a save. No. Oh, that's great. But yeah, so that's your lines update. That's about it for the injuries, so we'll get into our final topic of today. The reverse retro schedule has been released. Now, Jesse, we haven't had a chance to talk in a video about what we think of the reverse retro jerseys. My personal opinion is that I do like them. I think they look nice, but I think they could have gone a step further. It literally just looks like our normal jersey with the color change to powder blue and nothing else. I was hoping for, one with where it says Montreal right across the chest in the old Expos lettering. Or maybe feature white a bit more on the jersey. I think it's nice, but I think they could have done a little bit better. What are your thoughts?
That's a great take, Josh. To be honest, I hadn't thought of it that way. I like the powder blue right off the bat. I think they do look amazing. And to echo your sentiments on it, I want that for sure. I think we're going to have to get some Habs Digest jerseys going on that. Yes. For sure. But yeah, if you're going the rest of the way, what a great... Yeah, I think you might have to join the front office of Montreal, because that's a really great call, with kind of the lettering. I just think the reason for that with the Saint Flanelle is we know that it's a sacred sweater. So I think they're a little bit careful of what they do with it. But I've been liking quite a bit of those retro team jerseys. I thought the Florida ones were absolutely dynamite. But yeah, no, I'm really liking our reverse retro. And I think that might be a good direction to kind of take it in the future. But I think it's a nice in-between, and obviously, a nice homage to the Expos at the same time.
You're not changing, it's not broken, don't fix it. It does, to me, they kind of just change the color slider, the brightness slider, but, I can't be upset. I do like it. I'm debating whether I want to pre-order one. They're quite expensive, more than I thought, about 400 Canadian dollars, I believe. But, we'll see. I do think they're nice, and I'm excited to see them. So let's pop up the schedule for you guys. We have 8 games this season where we're going to wear them. November 15th against the Devils, December 10th against the Kings, 15th against the Ducks, the January 9th against the Kraken. Wow, that's a lot of West Coast teams that we're playing here, using these jerseys against. January 19th versus the Panthers, 26th versus the Wings, 31st versus the Senators, and finally against the New York Rangers on February 11th, 2023. So we got some nice opponents to play against, and all these guys also have reverse retro, so that'll be a cool matchup to see. I'm looking forward to maybe the Kings, Ducks, and definitely Panthers the most when it comes to seeing their reverse retros in action against Montreal. But I think that's about it, Jesse. There's not much more news to touch on today. Do you have any final thoughts?
No, just looking forward to putting it to a 3-game win streak tonight.
Oh, same here. All right, well, there will be no game recap tonight, but me and Jesse will be back tomorrow to discuss all the happenings of last night. Unfortunately, we're both busy, but again, if you enjoyed, don't forget to subscribe, share it with your friends, family, whoever think you might enjoy. And it's a pleasure to have you guys. Pleasure talking with you, Jesse. We'll see you all in the next video.